What's up you guys, Gongrongzong here. So the new raid is coming. I am super excited for it. I hope you are too. Lots of changes are in, the main ones being that gear score is now locked to 500 and that heroic sources drop guaranteed 500 loot. For those of you thinking that there's nothing much to do until the patch or raid hits, I'm going to sincerely disagree with you. There is going to be a huge gap between players that put in the effort to prepare for the raid and those that don't. Let me show you why. The first reason is due to the giant gap in damage ranges for your exotics. If there's only one thing you watch in this entire video, make sure you take note of this one. This is the most important. Number 1. Make sure that you farm as many exotics as you can. You will be needing their exotic parts from dismantling them in order to re-roll the damage numbers on your exotics. And the way you do this will be to farm as many Chatterboxes as you can. There is a really good and easy route I've been using. It's detailed in a Polygon article which I'll give the link to in the description below. It involves no fighting whatsoever, just literally 5 minutes of running around in the open world opening chests. Super easy. Dismantling an exotic, in this case the Chatterbox, grants you 2 exotic parts, which you can later use to re-roll your current exotics in order to get them as high a damage roll as possible. I'm just going to use my crafting table as an example of why this is so important. As you can see on your blueprints, your crafted exotics will roll within a certain damage range. These ranges are unique to you based on how much overall and specific weapon damage you have for that weapon type. So for example, on my Nemesis, it rolls from 381k to 466k for me. This is a pretty big range. If you craft a Nemesis and it only rolls at the 380k range, that is about a 20% drop from a higher end one. As you can see, my own Nemesis has rolled very close to the top, 465k, just 1k short of 466, which I am very pleased with. But it only got to this stage because I re-rolled it about 7 times over, using 7 exotic parts in total. The way you re-roll it is to basically just select the blueprint, make sure you don't have the weapon equipped, select the item, and then hit craft again, using up 1 exotic part in the process. Without farming these exotic parts, unless you're very lucky on the first try, you'll be entering the raid with very subpar exotics. And I have a bad feeling lots of people are going to be doing this. Don't be one of those. Also, keep farming for specific exotics if you haven't gotten them yet. As of what I've tested on the PTS, both the Chatterbox and Merciless can now be used as a main weapon in some builds. Yup, they're no longer just glorified holstered weapons. I have done videos on these specific weapons if you haven't seen them yet, hybrid builds like the Vampire Tank or my Kobe Medic build that work pretty well now, so make sure you check them out if you haven't yet. The Sweet Dreams is also still a pretty useful holstered shotgun in how it basically gives you unlimited ammo for your main weapon, and might very well become a viable choice for certain builds when the raid hits. So that's the first thing. On to number 2. Farm green sets by rerunning invaded missions. If gear score is staying at 500, which it is, these will be the most optimal rolls other than the Alps brand set that you can get for when the new recalibration system hits. Here you can see the maximum rolls possible for each piece. I have included another link in the description to this table. All credit goes to this fantastic Reddit post. For example, it is technically possible to get over 50% DTE on a mask. While yes, 1 in a million chance, well not actually 1 in a million, this guy's calculated it to be about 1 in 2000, these green set masks can actually roll with such high stats, and definitely have a much higher chance of at least rolling in the above 40% range. Other notable ones include over 16% weapon damage on a chest, and close to 30% cooldown reduction on a backpack. So if you want to be pushing the hardest difficulty that the raid has to offer, these are the things you'll have to be farming on your own time to push your stats up. And if you've been doing it religiously over the past few weeks, you'll have some good rolls to hit straight into the raid with. If not, make sure you get started ASAP. And for number 3, start building towards the new meta. And this part is important, a raid-worthy build, whether it be DPS-wise, crowd control, healing, and so on. While gear score 500 will start dropping more often next week, the difference between 495 and 500 is mostly insignificant. The amount of RNG that is swayed in your favor with 5 points of gear score is minuscule at best. An entire list of talents that have been buffed or nerfed can be found in the patch notes. I'll include a link in the description below. Notable ones are, if you're not aware of them yet, that Berserk and Strain can no longer be stacked. You have to choose one of the two, of which both have had a pretty big nerf overall, and Unstoppable Force has taken a pretty big nerf too. About a 15% damage decrease overall. But just take note that Unstoppable Force is not a talent that you want to be using in the raid anyway, because you need to make the kill in order for it to proc, making it mostly useless in a party of 8 people. So if you're preparing a build for the raid, look into options other than Unstoppable Force. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, make sure to check out my other videos on the Division 2 involving the PTS. There may be some builds in there you might be interested in. As always, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in DC.